Indianapolis Center, do you have any test operation restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue to send at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. They're right by us right now.
There are 1,000 UFO sightings reported around the world every month. 90% of these sightings can be explained, but 10% cannot. Officially and unofficially, the U.S. military has been investigating UFOs since 1947. Their top secret goal is to find out what's behind these unexplained sightings. The Pentagon classifies them as unusual airborne anomalies, but a better term is X-Files. Join us now as Mack, Wanwan, and Commander Cobra explore these unsolved cases, UFO incidents that baffle even the U.S. military. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. And now, here's Mack Maloney.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. What a gang we have here tonight. So let's get to it, girls. Okay, you know the drill. Misters, fans, big box of Kleenex, big box of wipes, big squeegee, because the very famous Wanwan is here.
Hey, Mac. Hey, girls. Welcome to the show. Happy to be here as always. And as you know, I live for this. It's going to be an awesome show tonight. I can tell just by the group of
the energy
weirdos that are going to be on the show tonight.
Wow. Okay. Wow. You went that route. Okay. All right. We should do a little segment on exactly why the squeegee at some point, because
the squeegee.
I don't even know. Anyway. Wow.
I can imagine, but I'm not going to get into it.
You might have just explained it. Who knows? Anyway, up there in his compound. Up in Maine, the great state of Maine. They know him as Coco on the street. We know him as Commander Cobra, CC.
Good evening, Mac, and it's always a privilege to join the formation, a 8-chip tonight before guests, which is very impressive.
What are you doing? Your homework there? What are you doing? What are you writing down? You're not paying attention. You're on the... What is he doing?
Well, I'm paying attention.
Okay.
Just because I'm taking notes, there's no reason.
Oh, you're taking notes.
Hey, Cobra, thank you for your service, and this being Veterans Day weekend.
Okay, right. This is going to be kind of a veteran show.
Well, one, thank you, and same extends to many of our guests that are with us, guest hosts that are with us tonight.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let's go up to the Bowl of Flakes, Battle Creek, Michigan, where our national correspondent, Switchblade Steve Ward, resides. Switchy, how are you?
You know, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing tonight than be here on the show.
Wow. Where'd that come from?
And he's sincere about that, too. I know
can tell?
I can see it in his eyes.
Because his hair's not moving? You can see it in his eyes. Okay.
Just don't look at the glass eye.
Okay, listen. We also
Thank you for
us,
your service, too.
Also joining us. Also joining us is our security chief, Willie Clubb. Willie.
Hi, Mac. Hi, folks. Great to be here tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Hello, Club.
Let's make that determination at the end of the show. Also, everything okay with you?
Everything's great.
Super. Let's go around the horn. I'm going to save the best for last. So also joining us, Agent X. Agent X, the man who works for the agency that works for the agency.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Okay.
And I'm just like the commander. You've got a huge crew of illustrious guests.
Okay.
And fellows in our conversation tonight. So I'm happy to be here.
Okay. All right.
We're happy to have you here as always, X.
Yes.
And thank you guys. I won't even say it, for your service.
Of course.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.
You have the lights on in your cellar there. That's a good sign. We're taking that as a positive sign. Also, I had a conversation the other day with the lovely Mrs. X, and she says she'll come on the show sometime. Did you read that memo?
Yeah, but I had a counseling session with her.
All right, stop right there. Stop. Okay.
And she has reconsidered.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Re-education. Hey, look at, talking about that kind of stuff way down south is our good friend Jocko Johnson is with us. Jocko, how are you doing?
Sir. Glad to be on the roll call.
Okay, you look as relaxed as ever. You got your headset.
He's chilled. Look at him.
What hat? What do you have, a NASA hat on? What is that hat?
Yeah, I'm in a spaced out mode.
Is it a NASA hat? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. I wore one once, and someone came up to me and said, "The right stuff on the wrong head." I'm telling you, at a party, really.
Wow.
Hi. How are you two? So anyway, all right. And now also in the studio with us, armed or not armed? Give me a signal.
Unarmed.
Okay, I believe you. UFO Mechanic Al Renaldo.
Good evening, Mac. Hello, everyone. What's up?
You tell us. Okay, so listen.
What's up, Al?
What's up?
I've got to tell you, Al.
You know what's up?
With the headphones on, you look like Bernie Madoff.
Oh, wow.
Wow, there's a name out
There
of
you go.
random.
What's up? I was just telling Mac, we had a 200-pound bear in the neighborhood pretty much.
Can you imagine that?
You got to be armed. You never know.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you got to be armed. You're right.
Yeah, somebody popped him, too.
Nice.
Somebody hit him with a car.
Right
between the eyes, I hope.
Listen. Okay. Up there.
Otherwise, just aggravate him, Raven.
We have to get to the beauty among the beasts, okay? Up there in the upstate New York, our favorite good witch joining us tonight, Raven. Hello, Raven. How are you, Raven?
Hi, my friends. Well, now I'm super bummed out because a poor bear died.
Oh,
I'm with you, Raven.
He's a troublemaker.
Me too.
I mean, he got hit by a car. It wasn't intentional.
All right. No. That's,
geez.
that's what they said.
Oh, that's
right,
so
look at-
sad.
Oh, that definitely. Now that I know the rest of the story, the bear was from Maine. I know how.
Of
how
course
this
it
story
was.
goes.
Why not? You know, I mean, I think that
Does a little swimming, comes downstream a little bit, makes a quick stop in New Hampshire for the liquor store.
For the liquor
gets
and the
into
cigarettes.
Massachusetts, gets hit by a car. I know how.
And then he comes to Mass
That's
for the
this is
dispensary.
exactly what-
substitute bear with a couple other things. I know exactly how this one
they
goes.
go to the pot
Yeah,
stores.
I
and
shoot
that's-
up bears with
But Commander,
camera.
let's get to the
Here we
villain.
go.
Villain was a Massachusetts driver.
How do you know? You don't know that.
It's always the case.
Yeah,
No, it
always
isn't.
the way.
No,
Must
no
have
way.
been
All right,
from
look.
2 in the morning,
Tell you
too.
that.
2 in the morning. Yeah, heading back to New Hampshire, probably Maine. All right, listen.
Probably
Raven,
driving on the wrong side of the road.
let's go to Raven.
Pulled them over automatically.
Let's go to
Well, I
Raven.
heard the story was that the bear was walking on the wrong side of the road. It was what the driver
There you go.
claimed.
Let's go to Raven. Raven. Raven.
It didn't have any reflective gear on.
Raven. Do you have what kind of hat do you have on? Is that a Jenny hat or something? What's your hat?
No, it's like I found it at like a shop when I was up in Maine.
Yes.
And it has a wolf with a chicken in its mouth.
Yeah, why not?
Chicken
right?
loaf?
She was
And it-
inspired
and
because she was at the
like,
compound.
Yeah, it's like a mug shot.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Get a little closer to the
it's
camera. Let's
super.
get a little
It's so
closer.
soft.
That is Maine. All right, that's the Maine humor. Okay. Wow, cool. And
Jeez, Raven, you got to tell me where you got that.
yeah,
I
we'll
like that.
we'll let the fans know too. Listen, 2 things. The clock looks like it's working in the background. Looks like the tail is going back and forth as advertised. And what's your drink du jour tonight? Just tell us if people want to know.
This is a strawberry coconut hard seltzer, and it's just meh. It's not great.
Oh, gee,
but-
big surprise. Okay, all right.
Ew, ew.
I loaded up on hard seltzers for my house guest, and she didn't drink one while she was here.
Really?
But you guys made me such fancy cocktails.
Oh, Mac after
I would have
dark.
passed out if I had hard seltzer.
All right, listen. The swag is still going off the shelves really quick, but just write to us at macmaloney.com. Hit the contact button. Tell us you want your bag of swag. And they are literally going around the world, as it turns out, which is good, but it's also expensive. You know, we love our fans in England, but every time I see a British address, I go, oh, boy, there goes $18.
Is that what the postage is?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. You know?
The best part is the customs forms you got to
Yeah,
fill
and
out.
customs and Canada, same thing.
So you have to find one person to send it to, or
I thought of
disperse it
that, yeah.
among the other people.
Believe me, we're thinking about that. The think tank is thinking about that exact thing. Just send them.
How about,
you know,
like they drop it at the post office, and there's a place where they go pick them up, like hold for delivery.
even to Canada. Even to Canada.
I think it's probably cheaper if one of us
$15.
moves to England
Okay,
to
all right.
distribute the gear.
Well, Mac,
Not me.
Lisa and Sarah live in the UK.
their
So
names.
let me give you their
Okay.
address.
Okay.
Maybe they'll
All right.
be your
General,
distribution
pick
agent.
up
okay?
General Post Office. That's how you do
There
it.
you go. So listen.
Where they live.
So
They live near the Isle of Wight
Oh.
on that coast,
No, not them. Whoever comes to get the
and
swag.
they're having a swell time.
good to know. Now look. So in these letters that we've been getting from fans, believe it or not, we got one from a fan today who has actually written a skit. Raven, you have the skit, right?
I have the skit.
Okay, so what happened was a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that in passing that there was a live band in our neighborhood down on Plum Island where some of us live, and that the guy did. Do you remember this? He did a rap version of Charlie on the MTA. Okay. And you could hear it all over the place. So Al, being the guy he was, says, "I want to do that and break up the party." You know what I'm saying? That sounds like you.
Yeah.
So one of our listeners actually did a skit on the 5 top ways Al would break up the neighborhood party. This is not me. This is one of our fans. Please, let's start the music, Raven. Let's go. Number 5.
Full disclaimer: I have not read any of these, so
Good.
this is going to be fresh.
Excellent.
I have no clue.
So, he casually walks over to Holmes' main electric feed and discharges his firearm into. Once the lights are out, he returns home to chuckle about it.
Okay, you cut off the lights.
That's a
basically. That's a
possibility,
little, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we can scale on possibilities. That's
that's
definitely
not
in the,
totally
right
out of character.
He does that anyway. Go ahead. Number 4, please.
playbook.
During the annoying musical party guest set, Al gathers his most ill-tempered bees in jars and throws them over into the party in glass jars, while Mac records the audio of the chaos for a new bumper.
For a new bumper.
That would work.
This guy knows the show there, dude.
But it's,
And I'd just like to add, so there people understand that Al would use carpenter bees as the primary culprit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Don't waste the honeybees.
Yeah. Carpenter bees are the worst.
Not African killer bees.
Baby steps.
They're tough to import.
Yeah, right. Yes. And to pet.
They don't travel well either.
Okay, number 3. These are ways that Al Renaldo would break up a noisy party in our neighborhood.
Okay. Al enlists the help of Jocko, and they come roaring up to the home, dragnet style, and break the party up, while Cobra adds to the illusion by appearing overhead in a chopper and spotlighting the partygoers.
See, now we're talking.
Yeah, that would work.
Works for me.
You know,
That's a clever operation.
I'm getting a little bit uncomfortable with the truth factor that some of this is coming up with.
Well, no, see, I wouldn't have to get out of the car because I had a boss once tell me, "Officer, clear this street." So I just drove on the sidewalk.
That's all. We did what he said. Okay. All right. Where are we, Braven? Are we at number 2?
Number 2 or number 4.
Either way.
The fan listed this 1 through 5.
Go ahead. This is reasons, ways Al would break up a neighborhood party. That's making too much noise.
Al calls in a favor from Cobra, and he initiates a flyover and tactically drops bags of flour. Al then calls the local authorities and says, "I believe I just witnessed several bags of cocaine dropped in a bag."
Excellent.
Yes.
I like it.
Oh, this is great.
Okay.
Who is this guy? Hire him.
Yeah, really. Okay, so here we are. The number 1 way Al would break up a noisy neighborhood party.
All right. Al simply says, "Time to crash the party." He enters the party and begins taking a leak on the shoes of the people throwing the party to assert dominance.
Again, a little too close to real life. Here.
Mark your territory.
I'm getting the feeling that.
Mark, go ahead.
I tell you, I really believe I know the author.
Really? No, you don't. You don't believe it. Go ahead, Raven, please.
Scenarios.
Finish the thought.
Okay, to assert dominance, then takes their finest bottle of alcohol and says, "Have a nice night, assholes."
Yeah, that would work.
That's right on the money there,
yeah.
to the truth. You know?
That's Al.
Well, there you go. We're going to have to, come on, we have to give it up for that.
Yeah, very,
That's Al.
very
that list.
well done. Very well done.
And the
deserves
author,
that
is
person.
just a superlative.
The person that submitted that deserves a little something special swag.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
You know what it made me think of? Instead of having
name in the
Cobra
magic
drop
ball.
the cocaine, have the fake coke.
Yes.
Just have him pick up one of the beach and.
Oh, wow. I'd rather the fake coke.
There's 5 of them. Well, that would break up the party faster,
That's
though.
true. Okay. That's true.
I know Coke might get the party going.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you drop Coke in there,
Yeah, it'd make it louder.
we'd really have a problem.
The porta potty would be funny.
Anyway.
Raven, I'm crushed. I
Yeah,
have
we all
no
are.
idea how you even know how that happens.
Okay, listen. So why don't we do this? On that note, why don't we do this? Actually, we have an announcement from Club, a security alert for our listeners. Club, do you have that? Did you receive that today?
Yeah, I sure did, and I've been spending some time on it. It's a directive that I am pleased to be able to report to folks.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, anyways, let me put on my hat here first.
It's getting close to Christmas.
We'll have to, assume that he's really putting on his hat.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just
hat
happy
is-
if he tells
yeah.
us he's dressed without the camera on.
right.
So
Yeah,
if
well,
he wants
I have a hat
just
on
work
anyway.
with the hat. If he wants to sit there with the hat, that's fine.
We'll find out next segment. Go ahead, please.
All right. Well, anyways, what this is all about, this is a special Christmas gift announcement. And the concerns we've had regarding gifts that have come into members of the crew here at Christmas time. So anyways, Mac, Christmas is coming, and that means we usually get a truckload of gifts that fans send to the members of the show. A lot of them are gag gifts, and as you know, ones we deem as being hazardous or unsafe, we've had to put under a 30-day quarantine. You know, some we even had to immerse in special types of water for a period of time, and then we had to rub them down. And there was a whole process that when I say
You're exciting, JJ.
Go ahead,
So
rub
can
them
you just
down.
move along
It's exciting
there
me.
a little bit
Go
there.
ahead.
Sounds like a massage I had once.
Really? Okay.
Well, anyways, since most of our listeners probably aware of some of the issues that we face with this hazardous material, we've had to request now that this year we're, although we love getting and vetting the gifts, we just want to make one request this year. Anyone out there that's sending expensive sex toys for Christmas, particularly the very creative ones, may we suggest you send money and donate it to a worthwhile cause instead.
That's right.
This would really be best for all of them. As I know firsthand, some of these...
Poor choice of words there.
Well, listen.
Well, some of these gifts for Juan, and Juan got the bulk of the what we'll call the
adult
risque gifts.
Okay, yes, the adult side of things.
And I must say, some of them are very creative, and I
Yes.
know that Juan had some fun with a number of them.
I do.
But
have-
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Poor choice of words.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
But he's running out of places to store them.
Wow.
I like underwear
You know,
gifts.
I think
Those are
this is
good.
really
They require
wrong on
batteries.
Club's part and Mac's part because the
fluffy.
joy in Wan's face when he opens these packages and it's one of the
Priceless.
One of his
toys that he
favorites.
does not have. When
Yeah,
he gets
which is-
something new, which is pretty hard to do in his
I
world.
was going to say.
Well, you know, I thought most of you folks were, kind of envious of Juan where he got the bulk of those.
right.
gifts.
Again, poor choice of words.
We're talking about
I go, where do you get these things?
at the local sex stop.
You know?
You get them
Well, no,
online,
as
there,
you know,
brother.
Mac, I mentioned you some of them are homemade.
Homemade. Well, there are some homemade. Uh-oh. I think that
Sex toys.
Uh-oh.
the one that
Could
was
go wrong with that.
well, the one that was really disturbing was the homemade one that was actually painted like a rainbow. Wow.
You know, the worst part.
Was it a unicorn?
Places, they can't find anything new, so you got it.
Listen.
Yeah, I just think I agree with Mac. Though it's time that we
Yes.
request that, in lieu of those kind of gifts for this Christmas, that you donate to the charity. of
Donate
your
the 50
choice.
bucks.
And,
Buy a tree somewhere or something.
yeah, I'll be glad too. I was getting a lot of rashes when I opened these boxes. And
Rashes.
some of them
Wow.
never go away. I think
Wow.
I got rosacea now. I don't know.
I'm glad you got them, not me.
Listen, if Raven wasn't
So
here.
how does sex toy rosacea get to your face?
All right,
How
hang
did-
on.
how-
That's
I
on-
didn't say it
there.
That's
wasn't
our
in
medical-
my face. That was the problem.
That only happens to me if I get underwear as a gift.
All right, listen.
It's called
Well, you
herpes,
got
guys.
some.
It's called
Yeah.
herpes.
How did we go
That's
down
my,
this
that's my
road?
favorite. It doesn't make any noise. Doesn't
The
require
X-
any batteries.
in
I
X-Files.
can put them in my pocket.
Wow. Okay.
Take them
Boy.
out for later.
They're going to be.
And if I know who it came from exactly, I just
Exactly.
close my eyes and imagine.
Really?
And how long they were worn.
Oh,
now we
stop,
transitioned over to former Beatles songs.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's
the
right.
whole nut
Norwegian
right here.
wood.
Oh, yes, right. Okay, that's very deep. Okay, wow, one. Okay, all right. Thanks.
Very tasteful.
Yeah.
Very, very tasteful.
I got to go to church.
Yeah, listen, we all do.
Did I say earlier this is the only place I'd want to be tonight?
Yes.
It is.
Somewhere over the rainbow, my
We
friend.
have that on
Somewhere
tape.
over the rainbow.
We do.
Can we have look over the minutes again and just make sure I said that?
Okay, all right. Hey,
Just so
listen.
you'll know, we do have a small box of last year's that we've not distributed yet. So Warren, they'll be coming up to you UPS
soon.
probably
UPS
before Christmas.
Okay.
Watch out for him.
Handle with care.
The UPS.
Got to see how.
Okay.
The
And
Tide
if anybody's
Pods go
sending
off.
underwear, please.
Okay.
They have to be first.
No, wait, stop it. Now, come on.
Oh,
I knew that was coming.
It's Christmas.
Okay.
It's Christmas,
skid
dude.
marks.
That's part of the criteria.
Yeah, listen, you know
Skid
who has-
marks, well,
You know who gets this stuff? You know who the first stop in this chain is? It's old Mackie boy, okay? I don't want to be handling
Explain
you.
that to the wife.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Tony and Mac
These are
just
one
get somebody-
If a one.
Yeah, tell her
I've
these are
used that
one
too many
ones.
times already. That's
Yeah,
not going to work.
that'll cover it.
Where'd these come from? Oh, they're one ones.
Listen,
Okay.
all
Well,
right.
you have to go out this year and buy your own, Mac.
God.
Oh.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Left
New
field.
material from Club.
Yeah, really,
Raven,
club.
my apologies for having
And that's what yes,
put
right.
up with all of this.
That's okay. She has her fingers in her ears. She's
Sorry,
not
Raven.
Listen,
Don't apologize.
why don't we do this? Okay, now that we're on a laughing streak, we're going to go to Switchy. Okay, the skew of the show, Switch. Everyone wants to know. Boy, I mean, everyone wants to know. What did you have for breakfast today?
This morning, I went to Cracker Barrel.
Ooh,
Yes. Been to that place a long time.
I had the
That's
old timers
bougie.
breakfast.
Really? Okay, go
No,
ahead.
no comments are needed on that. I had the old
What is
timers
that?
breakfast. Two
That's
eggs
really
over
what
easy.
it's called on the menu?
The old timers breakfast.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, all right.
2 eggs over easy.
Yes.
You can get fried apples or a hash brown casserole. Fried apples don't really do much for me, so I got the hash brown casserole.
That sounds
I
good.
had
Yes.
2 turkey
Good boy.
sausage patties.
Oh, bad boy.
Yes,
And
turkey.
in place of the biscuits, I got sourdough toast.
Wow.
By the way, there's a backstory behind this.
Go ahead.
But I also got grits.
Oh,
Grits. I love grits.
Oh, no.
Grits are so good.
No.
Now, here's the
If done
backstory.
properly.
It's short
I can tell you a
backstory.
good grit story later.
Look, he's going to give us
What-
the backstory here.
One of our listeners, Johnny Cobb, he's a musician,
Yes.
he suggested I go to IHOP and listed off the stuff, and in it was grits, and he thought that would be, it would get a chuckle or get some attention if I had grits for breakfast.
Go ahead.
But there's no IHOPs around me, so I went to Cracker Barrel instead and had grits.
Excellent.
Oh, Switchy.
So that was my
Did you have a
breakfast was
correct-
partially influenced by one of our listeners.
Wow.
Excellent.
You had true grit.
Yes,
You
that's
have
what it
to have
tastes
them
like.
right.
That's
Because when
you
I,
do.
I
Really
was-
stepped
when I
out of
was-
your comfort zone.
When I was first on the job in New York,
Yes.
and I went to this diner, like a little luncheonette, and a lot of the people who lived in the South moved up north in the 50s, took up jobs,
Yes, yes.
40s and 50s,
Yes.
right? And so they were still there
Grits.
in certain neighborhoods,
Yeah, and they
and
still
that's
had
where I used
grits.
to work. So I sat down and I ordered, I'll try it, and I learned how to eat them. So the first time I was on the job in the sheriff's office down here, I ordered some grits and 2 eggs over easy and bacon. And I take it and you throw the eggs in the grits with cheese and butter and
Oh, my
salt and
God.
pepper. You mix the eggs, crush them, cut the bacon, and you eat them all together.
That
The guy
sounds
said,
good.
How'd y'all know about that?
No, it
Yeah, I
doesn't.
didn't know.
Brother,
That's
I was eating
great.
before you were born.
Sounds like something you'd
Wow.
have in the garbage disposal.
All right,
Yeah.
That's how we give
Listen.
another perspective.
Go ahead.
That's
Look.
how we have them in the
20
South, baby.
22
Very good.
years in the military.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
How many times
all
you
we
eat
had
grits?
for breakfast out in the field when you had what they call Class B
Yes.
was grits.
Oh, fuck.
And
That I don't
We
believe.
get
I don't
grits
believe that. They
and-
spend billions of dollars on soldiers' food every year. They're not going to give you grits there, dude. Someone was
That's
pulling.
what you had for MREs was grits?
Class
That's
B.
it?
That's all you had. And I
Wow.
had never seen or heard something so hideous as grits. So that's all you had to eat. So I put ketchup on the grits, and they were at least palatable. And all of the
There he
because
is.
everybody in the
Can I tell you
military
something?
back then-
Grits are disgusting. They have the
No, they're
perfect
not.
name.
They
Yeah.
can't
They have
be
the perfect
disgusting,
name,
but
and
guys,
it's like
let
eating
me tell you
grits.
the right.
Story.
I'm
All,
telling you.
all
Let
of
him
the
finish.
guys, all of the guys from down south
Big surprise.
were no, they weren't surprised.
No, there's a
They
big
were
surprise that they
horrified
like.
that
Oh,
we
they didn't
putting
like the grits. They were.
Ketchup on grits.
Oh,
And then when I ate the grits with ketchup,
Yes.
Not too bad.
There you go. Well, now you're proving you're from Boston because people in Boston will catch up on everything.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Gross
everything.
X.
One other thing, Mac.
Go ahead.
That's terrible.
I
Switch it.
always we should probably add. I always bring a book to read when I'm at breakfast.
Go ahead.
So perhaps we should list the book that I'm reading at that particular breakfast every week.
Let's hear it.
Do we have to?
This week was The 20th Plane by Albert Durant Watson.
Go ahead.
A channeled book from the 1800s. Very interesting.
Wow, huh? So we're plugging some guy who wrote it in the 1800s?
Wow.
Hey,
Nice.
Mac.
What's his daughter, the waitress or something?
Yes,
He
right.
chronicled the channeling.
Oh,
in
wow.
2 books.
Interesting.
Hey, Mac, truthfully, breakfast with a book or the racing form? Come on.
The racing
Never
form.
with a book
Yeah.
there, Jocko. I can tell you that.
Come on.
With the racing
You know what I'm
form,
saying?
occasionally, yes. All right, so listen, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll bring in our guest, hopefully. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. The entire gang is here, and we'll be right back after this. Please stay tuned.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52 or 53 or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mac talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. Let me introduce very quickly the expanded posse, the poussée, as the kids say, on the streets of Paris. Girls, the very famous Wawan is here.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Glad to be here.
Okay. Dressed up like
always.
Geddy Lee again. He's getting a lot of Geddy Lee. Seeing me all bit there. Wow, and he's eating the Halloween candy. Interesting. Are you drinking the whipped vodka as well?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I love the whip vodka.
Whipped vodka. I've never even heard of whipped vodka.
I can't even say whip vodka right now.
No,
Yep.
that's
I like
how
it.
good it is. Yeah,
Made
okay.
up. It's fake.
Also up there in
It is
Maine,
fake.
up in the
Sweet.
great Northeast is Commander Cobra, Coco.
Good evening, sir. And all, thank you very much for having me, Mac.
Everyone has got the headsets now. I'm getting headset envy. Also up there in Battle Creek, Michigan, the Battle Creek of the Republic, Switchblade Steve Ward, our national correspondent.
Great to be here tonight.
Okay. Everything good with you?
Beyond wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any speaking appearances coming up soon that we can talk about very quickly?
I may be speaking at a library in one of the suburbs of Cleveland in May.
Okay, super duper.
And also be another speaking engagement at the next Beast of Bray Road Conference in Elkhorn, Wisconsin in April.
Okay, very good. Switch. Okay, getting around.
World famous, baby.
World famous
Yeah,
is right.
Gets around.
I guess now we have to clap for you.
It's the hair and the bow tie.
It's really it's
We
finally
knew him when. We
it's
knew
finally
him when.
working. Okay.
I will never forget all the little people, all in these little boxes here.
Oh, wow. Wow. So
You better not forget us.
Yeah.
okay. Also, Agent X is here, the man who works for the agency that works for the agencies. X, you're here.
Thank you for having me with this illustrious crew and my my former comrade in arms.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Okay. You know, I hate to be the guy in the room that says this, but of all the people who needs a hair system, it's X. Look at him. Or is that the light just shining off just like the moon shines off the earth?
It is correct.
Okay.
If you see me in person,
It's the military haircut, man.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they did a
And-
great job.
And Mac, take off your hat. Take off your.
Hey, I'm not into that, though, do you? I'm not.
Say what I mean.
Well, listen.
Ouch. Ouch.
Barry is back with us. This is good. Okay. Our security chief, Willie Clubb is with us. Hello, Willie.
I have returned. Little
Okay.
technical difficulties,
Okay.
but I'm back online.
That's
Well,
okay.
Once you take all the batteries
Looking
out of the
good.
toys and put them in the microphone, you're back in business.
It's too early
You
for that.
bet.
Wow,
Can't wait.
wow. Hostile.
Ouch.
Al
Better buy some
Renaldo.
batteries, one.
Al Renaldo,
No,
UFO
I feel a
Mechanic.
little hostility tonight from Coco.
Really?
Not quite sure what it is,
What
but
happened there?
because I've been good. I haven't talked about
Hi.
his pig bacon at all or anything like that. So.
Wow, that keeps coming back
Man,
to me.
oh man.
You know?
Listen. Al Renaldo, UFO Mechanic, is in the studio
Good
with us
evening,
tonight.
good evening, everyone.
Okay.
Good evening, Mac.
And now saving the best to last. No, Jocko Johnson. Have I already introduced you, Jocko? You must keep tabs on
Yeah,
it.
but I'm still here.
Jocko Johnson, ex-NYPD down south.
He's sinking ever deeper in his chair.
But
too.
he's
Pretty soon
relaxing,
He'll be up
that's
to his
all.
beard. We won't be able to see him.
I made some Irish coffee and not enough
Yeah.
coffee, too much Irish.
Really? Okay, all right. Saving the best for last, as always, is our good friend, Raven, the good witch up there in Sideways, New York. Raven, how are you?
Hi, my
Hi,
friends.
Raven.
Let me,
Hi, Juan. I'm so good. Thanks for having
Let me
me.
paint the
good. You
picture
look
for
good,
you.
too.
She's
Thank you.
Sideways, New York. That is excellent. I like that.
That's a perfect way to describe where I
Yeah,
am
it's
too,
perfect.
because
Never
it's
heard of
so
it. That's
backwards
beautiful.
here.
let's copyright that immediately, Juan, okay?
Yes.
Sideways, New York.
Yeah.
Let me paint the picture for you. She's wearing a green hat that might be hiding a bun. We don't know. Okay, but
There's no bun up here.
no bun up there. No bun, no fun. Okay, all right.
No.
But looking very kind of what would you put the word there? Kind of hip.
Ravishing.
Very hip.
Country.
Ravishing.
That's the word.
That's another word, ravishing.
Beautiful. Yes, you know,
And that word
unbelievable.
as
Beautiful.
well.
Thank you. I feel like I look like a bum, but
Down
okay.
here in the
Here's-
trenches, we say smoke.
Compared to the rest of us,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I
yes.
don't want to
think about who you're talking to. Now, listen, I'm going to embarrass her a little bit because Raven started on the show a year ago next week. It seems like just a few. We got to clap or something.
Wow.
It feels like it's like been so long.
It's so long. It seems like 3 or 4 months.
no.
Okay.
No, it seems like it's just a couple of months.
Yeah, to me it does
I
too.
feel like
Yes.
it feels like it's been so much longer.
Wow. Okay.
Really?
Well, you know,
Not much fun, huh?
in a way that's good. In a way that's good. Now look, here we go. All right.
And come about February or so, I will be have been on the show for half a decade.
Wow.
How long have we been on the
incredible.
show?
And it doesn't seem more like 2 decades.
Really? Okay. You're having fun as well. Well, listen, we have a guest tonight.
Hey, Switch, at that time you had here.
you were the coolest.
Yeah, we all
We had
agree on
here
that.
at
is.
that time.
Can I introduce our guests? Okay. Joining us tonight is author F7u O'Connell. How's that? Scott, how you doing? We're going to call you Scott for the first segment, okay? Let's, because he's put up with us,
Hey, Scott.
let's clap him in, as they say in the biz, okay?
Welcome to the show.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
So, Scott, listen, you and X were colleagues, right? Way back when? We
Yes,
can't.
we were.
Okay, you worked in the sensitive part of counterintelligence in the Army, and if you ask anything and you can't answer, just say, can't answer that. Okay, so but you were doing counterintelligence work as well.
Yep. Yes, we were. And since it was over 30 years ago, most of it's unclassified now.
Oh, good. All right, cool. All right, it's okay. X tells us top secrets all the time. It's not a big deal. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Now I'm going to be in jail. Thank you.
Save away our raise.
Especially when you have Chinese guests. He
Now, wait a
seems to
minute.
get extremely flaky on those
He's
things.
all over it with the Chinese.
I'll take
guest.
care of you, X. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
I've already talked to Scott about that
Okay.
Chinese guest, and Mac
It's
is under
just
investigation.
okay.
Let's just leave it there.
the continuing
If worse
investigation.
comes to worse, I know these guys up in federal corrections.
That's okay. Hang on. All right. Listen. So
We
anyway,
were totally unaware of that background of that Chinese guest. Totally unaware.
you don't know that.
No excuse.
Okay, Scott. Let us get back to the guest. So, Scott, what country were you in doing all this kind of spy stuff? Can you tell us that?
Most of the time, Germany.
Germany. Okay.
Called the Federal Republic.
Okay. Before the wall came down.
Yeah. During the wall period, I'd moved up to Belgium with NATO.
Oh.
I was
Right.
the
Okay.
operations director for the counterintelligence activity that supported NATO.
Mhm.
So that was pretty exciting. When that was going on, it was kind of surreal.
Yeah. Right.
You're running stuff against these guys, and they're trying to make peace. It was very interesting.
Yeah, crazy, huh? And you know what happened? We're talking about the fall of the wall, but basically the end of the Soviet Union and the Soviet Empire and so on and so forth. That we expended so much money and anxiety and everything, just kind of, keeping them at bay, and then all of a sudden the whole thing just falls apart. It was really a piece of history. It was incredible. Everything kind of changed that way. But listen, pre-Berlin, pre-wall Berlin was really kind of a sketchy place, right? Really kind of a odd place.
Berlin was the center of ground zero, really, for the Cold War. Everything happened there. In fact, there was a statistic once, and I don't know if it was urban legend, but they used to say that all the operations the FBI ran, about 90% came from the military, and of those, about 90% came from the Army, and of those, about 80% came from the Army over in Europe. Now that over 80% came out of Berlin.
Wow.
Because it was all about access. Berlin is where people could cross over and meet, and both sides exploited that. So there was lots of
right
cloak and dagger there, but then it kind of cascaded all over the rest of the country.
So while the Berlin Wall was still up, you could pass between West Berlin and East Berlin, right? If you had the papers or something. Okay.
Checkpoint Charlie.
Yeah. Okay.
If you were an Army person in uniform, you could walk over to East Germany with nothing but your uniform on.
Really?
And your
Yeah.
ID card.
Really?
So that part was it was all very open. It was an occupied. To the Russians, they played it really to the very end. It was an occupied city to them. So you could, even if you were getting harassed, jazzed by the East German cops, you could play that card and scream for a Russian to come bail you out.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And they'd have to.
But can I just interject to my bud?
Go ahead.
You know, Scott, you and I, we weren't allowed ever to go there in those days without clearance.
Well, certain people couldn't, and we couldn't. I went once, but I was in a. They had declared vehicles that could go over with diplomatic immunity. So I got to go over one time. I was up there, and they let me go in, and we did a mission into the east.
What you do?
We go over and collect over collection.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's that? Picking up someone?
Spy on them. You can't count tanks.
Well, yes.
We'd count tanks. It was a one-off. I was doing it for fun.
Okay.
Usually we did the other stuff, but we went over with the guys spying just to see what it was like.
Okay. So the mic, I think the Russians are probably hacking the broadcast because we missed that for a second. So what did you do when you went over to East Germany for fun?
We counted tanks.
Oh, count the tanks.
Some of the train stations, counted how many tanks were there. We checked all these security bases. So there was a routine that these guys would do every day. They took me along to E6 Intel.
And this was allowed?
NCOs.
This was allowed?
They did it every day.
This is something they allowed you to do?
They did it to us.
Yep, we did.
Of course, both sides have people checking on it. And I'll just leave it at that.
Sure, right.
Unless Tom wants to embellish.
Right.
But it went on in Berlin. We actually had the general's flag. It was a big limousine, big like a Rolls Royce.
Okay.
And but it had all kinds of electronic equipment in it. It was fun.
Wow. Yeah. So it wasn't really what we were, kind of hearing back at home, right? There was kind of like a gentleman's agreement between the Russians and us. I mean, no one really got shot or killed, right?
Oh, some people got shot and killed.
Yes. Major Nicholson.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't there at some point?
No comments.
It wasn't at one point there was kind of like a ceasefire declared, and everyone kind of.
Occasionally, they drew blood. There was no doubt about it.
Yeah. So
when Nicholson got killed, I was just starting to drive home from Switzerland on a ski trip just by myself.
Wow.
And I picked it up on the Swiss radio station. It was in German. And I knew there was going to be something happening. So I worked for the headquarters. I was just a staff guy, but I figured, something's going to mobilize. So I just hit the pedal to the metal, and I got 6 speeding tickets in like an hour.
Yeah, baby.
From Switzerland. They just kept pulling me over.
Yes.
And back then, you could just pay your fine on the spot and keep going.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's called a bribe here.
Business.
Yes, right. So let me ask you this, though. So what we're talking about is that, in this kind of, West Berlin, East Berlin was basically divided after World War II. The Russians took half, we took half, basically, all right? And the country itself was divided, but Berlin, which is in East Germany, was also divided, if you can imagine that. And so you had to get into Berlin, you always had to go through, Russian-held territory, let's say. Okay, so that's why it was always kind of crazy. And this colonel he got killed by, the enemy, and that kind of started a war or something. But I heard Oh, go ahead. What happened? When did it happen? In the 80s, right? It was the mid 80s, or am I got the date wrong?
Yeah, like 85-ish.
Okay.
And,
1985.
Yeah.
And
So
go ahead.
He was shot. He was actually out in one of their training areas doing what he was really good at, and that's why they really went after him. He was targeted. They knew who he was, and I'm sure Agent X can give much more detail than I on this, but it was a pretty big event for them to send that kind of a signal.
Right. And what were they trying to say
at that time? And of course, Reagan was president.
What were they trying to say?
We're serious about what we're doing, and they were bringing in all kinds of new equipment. They'd spent while we were stumbling around the jungles of Vietnam, they were building up their military
stuff. Yeah,
sort of like what China's doing today.
Yeah,
and so we were over in the desert.
But interesting.
So they had this big investment, and they were protecting it.
But in a way, I mean, I hate to take the devil's advocate here, but in a way, I mean, it's a smart move, right? If you're the Russians.
Well,
I have a lot to add to that, if I could.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead, X. Go ahead.
It really, I don't think it was that smart because it didn't. It stopped him, unfortunately, but it didn't stop the mission. The mission went on, and I'll let Tom step in. This is kind of his neighborhood.
Go ahead, X.
Okay, he was shot by a 19-year-old draftee who had been drafted about 4 months earlier, and at that time, you didn't shoot. We didn't shoot each other. We didn't kill each other.
Right. Okay.
And so it just was we had a lot of reactions to that.
Go ahead.
But we understood it was just some young kid, and the Soviets took him out within 35 minutes.
Okay.
So we didn't get him.
But listen, let me ask you this, though. I'm sorry to interrupt, but listen, was this kid put up to it, or was it a mistake, or, what happened?
No, he was a young kid. He saw somebody.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That was an American and shot him.
Right.
And he fed a steady diet that this guy's the enemy, and he should be out of his vehicle. Yeah. That's why he shot him.
Here's the thing, and I think Jocko will, he'll agree with this. I mean, the way that they hate to be like this, the way they whack mafia guys is they'll have some young stooge go up and hit him, and then they hit the stooge, right, Jocko?
I was thinking of that exactly when they were saying it. Or, how he said they didn't kill each other?
Yeah.
Like the mob, they didn't kill cops. We really didn't kill them unless it came down to,
this
had to be done or permission was given,
Okay.
Absolutely right.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay, so go ahead.
To intrude too much.
Go ahead.
But we were on the other side.
Yes.
And we had ample opportunity to kill the counterpart of the major that got killed. We would never
In fact,
do that.
no Soviet
we would never do
was
that.
ever killed.
Hold on.
No Soviet operative was ever killed.
That you know of.
Caught red-handed.
Correct.
That you know of.
That's correct. Not knowing on the side where the news was against the standing forces, and we knew what happened in East Germany. So I'm sorry. This one, they had a young kid that was way too scared, way too pumped up, fed too much BS. He saw an American uniform and he shot, and the counter never happened. Same thing on the Korean border. Koreans would come down, North Koreans would come down, and they would whack our guys, and our guys had discipline. Their guys did.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Scott, please continue.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Somewhere in there, the FBI messed up, correct?
Don't they always?
That's the way it always is.
Yeah.
This had nothing to do with
They don't even belong overseas.
That's a whole other show. Go ahead, Scott. So listen. So
Go ahead, Scott.
How many years did you do this? How many years did you do this kind of spy work?
23 years in the Army.
Really? Oh, man.
And of that, I did 11 in Europe.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
that's where the spies were. So I spent most of my time in Europe. I was there as a lieutenant in a tank division.
Yes.
I did intel there, though, intel and counter intel, and then 3rd Armored Division. And I came back, and I was on the staff. I was in charge of communications security and signal security for the Army. Then I took over support to our special weapons, which is
cool.
An interesting job. I took that over the day the Pershing missiles came into Europe.
Oh, that's the big controversy.
I was captain, but was running around with the pucker factor was real high for about 6 months.
Yep.
They even had me. They brought him an old guy who was in the OSS in World War II. He jumped into France. His name was Jacques Schneider. And he was Alsatian French / American. And they brought him out of, not retirement, but he was working as an analyst back at Fort Meade.
Okay.
They brought him over, and he and I had to go to all these bases where the new Pershing missiles were coming in, and basically scout out where the Spetsnaz might be to take out these missiles.
Okay, let me explain.
Either rocket launchers or high-powered rifles.
All right, let me explain real quick. The Pershing missiles were what they call mid-range nuclear missiles that Reagan put in Europe in the early 80s, very, very close to Russian territory, and understandably, it made the Russians nervous. The Spetsnaz are basically the Russian special forces. They are the baddest of the bad guys. Okay, go ahead, please, Scott.
Yeah, so that was so we did that. That was a pretty interesting mission. But I finally got to go back to what I wanted to do, which was operational CI. So I was able to move over to the same organization Agent X was in, and I spent 2 years there running ops, running the battalion. It was a battalion, so we had about 250 special agents scattered in 35 different geographic locations, supporting 26 military communities in 4 countries.
Wow, holy cow.
We ran about 100. We at any one time we had about 200 espionage cases ongoing. We were doing the vetting of about we vetted about 1,000 people a month for their clearances, and then we had to do a bunch of terrorism was a thing even then. So we had terrorism cases as well. And then all kinds of incidents that we'd have about 100 terrorist incidents a month to run down, plus putting out intel information, plus the special mission units that we had. It was a busy time. It was a 16-hour day.
Yes.
6 or 7 days a week.
But it was
the hardest
cool,
I worked in my life, but it was the most fun I had.
Yeah, I was going to say
not in bed.
Yep. Whoa! Wow!
I've got to tell you, Mac, if I can interject.
Go ahead.
Because I know this guy really well.
Okay, go ahead.
And he was there the same time as me.
Yes.
And I just want to say this because General Powell died last year.
Right.
Last week.
Right.
And
Colin Powell.
General Colin Powell was a real legend.
Yes.
When I was a when I was a captain, and I was a counterintelligence officer, like Scott was describing.
Yes.
But I was a tactical counterintelligence officer.
Go ahead.
I had to go into 5th Corps. And 5th Corps was the command that 3-star General Colin Powell commanded. And so they'd give the briefings and all that, and then we'd all go back into a back room, right, with the division commanders and the colonels and everything else. I'm a captain, and they'd all give their briefings about this is what they were going to do if anything happened.
Okay.
And I was the counterintelligence guy, so I'd say, this is why none of that will work.
You were the guy. Yeah. Okay. You were the guy at the party who told them what they were talking about. I was the
guy that said, these are all your vulnerabilities. This is what the Soviet Warsaw Pact intelligence will do. And so they would come back to me and say, well, we can't do anything. And it's a great story about General Powell.
Go ahead.
He said, let him go on. He's right. You're wrong.
Wow.
That's a great story.
X. Really? All right. X saved the world, man. I'm telling you.
He's our hero.
4 or 5 different stories where he
Powell
literally
was a good guy. I remember at the beginning of the first Gulf War, he came out there and said, what we're doing is we're going over there and we're taking the whole toolbox. And I knew right then and then.
Exactly.
This guy is down for business.
But he was also smart enough to know that the way you do it, and it sounds horrible, but the way you do it is very quick. You just do it quick and get it over with, you know? And that's what he did.
I do have another quick story about General Powell.
This is Scott's segment, but go ahead.
Last week. Fast forward 2 years, I'm now suddenly in a counterintelligence job with civilian clothes, long hair, and everything else. And I had to go finally to see him, to read him off for a special access program. And so I sat in his office and I said, General, this is what you get read in for and everything else. And he looked at me, he said, well, you spooky guys have so many programs that I can't keep up with them all. I'll just sign it. But he said, I know you, Agent X, so I'll trust you. Cool story.
Yeah, okay.
That's awesome.
We'll
I
put
love
some music
that.
behind that. Okay.
You spooky guys.
So listen,
Why did it take so long for them to bury him and have the memorial after he passed away?
Back up in Arlington. That's one reason.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. It was like a month later they buried him.
Yeah, it took a while. Sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah, he got express service.
Wow. I was like, when's it gonna happen? It's terrible.
So listen, Scott. So when you were, what was your rank when you were doing all these shenanigans?
I was a captain, and then I made major. So I was a major for the last half.
Okay.
Half of it as a captain, half as a major.
And do you miss it? How long have you been gone from it? When was this all happening?
From that, quite a while. I won't go into it in this particular session, but when
I know.
when we retired from the Army, I continued on as a civilian. And that's something for another visit maybe. But the Army was good. I mean, I got to do everything I wanted to do, and worked with some great people, great Americans from all walks of life.
Yep, interesting.
All of them flawed people.
Wow. Okay.
So,
all right.
So these guys.
That's why you're so comfortable here.
Yep. Oh wow. Coco doing the material. Okay. So listen. So Scott, you're also an author now. You have what's your latest book?
Envoy of the Lord. It's a Cold War espionage time travel tale. Takes place in Canada and in Germany.
Wow, hits all the high points. Okay, cool. Okay, and when did you write that?
Gosh, I started. It took me about 2 years, so I finished.
Wow. So
2018, I guess I started writing it.
Okay.
Finished it in 2020, 21.
Oh, I ask this of our author guests all the time. Isn't writing a book a pain in the ass? And isn't it just awful?
It's really hard. It's really hard. It's one of those strange things. It takes a lot of discipline.
Yep.
And when you hit the bumps in the road, it's tough. It can be very frustrating. But when you have a product at the end of the rainbow, it's great. When you've got a product and you got the story you wanted to get out. And this is a story I wanted to. Again, different thing for me to get into a different genre, to really bend my head.
Yes.
To think about a way somebody would travel in time. To think whether it could be used for intel purposes, which is what the story is about. It's 1959. Sputnik went up a couple of years before. NORAD was created as a response, North American Air Defense Alliance between Canada and the U.S.
Yes.
To stop the Soviet, strategic weapons. So the story involves the Canadian piece of NORAD and a small top secret team in Ottawa, at a university in Ottawa, where they're trying to harness the power of the mind to travel through time.
There we go.
As a weapon against the Soviets.
I would just say right there, stop right there. It sounds good. It sounds like a Netflix series to me, I would say. Put some Canadian beauties.
Sure does.
Can I interject?
Easily.
Sure, go ahead, please.
This book is so fantastic.
Yes.
It's the best of historical fiction, the best of science fiction,
Cool.
and the best of espionage, all wrapped into one book. And no one has ever read a book like this.
Good.
It is so damn good.
That's good. Maybe I'll say HBO instead of Netflix, right? And we're going up a little bit on the food.
Ooh, yeah, the bougie one.
The bougie one. So listen. Go ahead.
My protagonist is unusual. I picked a German.
Okay.
Who would pick a
Okay. Well, that would be unusual. So listen.
I picked an ex-German army officer from World War II who's an immigrator to Canada that gets recruited by the Canadians for this mission.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing, is that we don't want to give away the book. We want people to be intrigued, be teased, and go out and buy the book. So where can they buy the book?
Amazon.
Just go on Amazon. It's called The Envoy of the Lord.
Envoy of the Lord.
Envoy of the Lord.
Looked it up. It's in my cart.
It's in
so everyone
Raven's
can look
cart, so you've already made it.
Yes.
It's a bestseller.
And my friend, wrote a blurb or a endorsement for that book.
That's called log rolling in the business. But all right, listen, why don't we do this?
It's really a good book.
On Amazon, okay? F7u O'Connell, is that what you write under?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate it. Let's give him a round of applause for his service and also for putting up with us. Thank you very much, Scott. We really appreciate it. Okay, that's Envoy of the Law. Envoy of the Law on Amazon, okay? F7u O'Connell. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot. My pleasure.
Okay, and we'll be...
Scott, it was nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Scott.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
Really
Thank you, brother, from the same neighborhood.
Take care.
Wow, huh? Thank you, Scott. And we're going to take a commercial break now. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Tracks, our show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network.
Do you know where the world's most secret bases are located? Do you know what spooky action at a distance means? Is there a conspiracy by aliens to prevent us from conquering space? And where is the best place in the United States to see a real UFO? Find the answers to all these questions and more in Mack Maloney's new book, Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe. Visit places you never knew existed: the Phantom Tunnels of Tokyo, the UFO Trail in South America, Hong's Hat, and the very mysterious M Triangle. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe contains hundreds of reports on ghosts, haunted planes and ships, weird celebrity deaths, mysterious sounds, and a breakdown of every monster in America, state by state. You've heard him talk about it on the radio. Now, get all of Mack's paranormal research in one large volume. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe, with a foreword by the very famous Wan Wan. On sale now in your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Mill Tracks, our show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Macaroni. What a show we have for you tonight. What a gang we have here. The more fun, the better, okay? Girls, the very famous JJ is here, 1-1.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Welcome back to the show.
Drinking his whipped
fun so far.
Drinking his whipped vodka, whatever that is. Also, Commander Cobra
good.
is up there. Yeah, whip it good. I get a feeling he's not drinking whipped vodka. Have you ever drank whipped vodka, Coco? Have you?
No, but I've used it on a couple wounds.
Oh, well, this is a shot. Anyway, our national correspondent, Switchblade Steve Ward, is up there in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Great to be here.
Went to Cracker Barrel today, had a big lunch. Old-timer lunch. I don't know if I'd admit that on the air, but did you get a senior discount there with your old-timer lunch?
I didn't ask for one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe I should have.
The important thing is you weren't offered one. That's the real.
That's right.
Important thing. And I'm finding.
That's true because I don't look much over, mid-40s.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, they're good. Raven is agreeing with you for some reason. All right.
Hello, Raven.
Let's go to Raven now that we see her. Raven, our favorite good witch up there inside, waves in the arc. Raven.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. And you spent a little time in Salem, Mass, right?
Yeah, you got to hook up with me when you go down to Salem again. Really.
I know.
Think that over, though. First.
I will be back for sure.
Okay, right.
Yes, we were just there for our honeymoon.
Okay. Salem, Mass, and on Halloween is completely nuts. Like the days all around is just like we live kind of near it. It's just insane.
It's insane. Yeah. It is insane, but it's fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, people dressing up. People that aren't dressed up who just kind of look like that that's the craziest part.
Back riding any one of the Halloween trains.
The Halloween trains, I know.
Too. It really is.
I was caught on one of those once, man.
I did that.
I made them, stop and let me out. It was nuts, crazy. But it's great, and everyone just accepts
on and off
it.
the train, riding back, and there was just so many trains going in and out of the towns. It was just
there's a guy walking around with no head. He's in a suit, coat, and tie, and he's got no head on.
You know who the scariest guy I ran into there was? I was there a few years ago.
Yeah.
And Halloween night, there's everybody walking down. You're doing their thing. They're all dressed up. And there was this one gentleman in the middle of the street. dressed in a black suit and everything, and he had a Bible, and he's out there screaming, they're all going to go to hell.
Well, that's funny.
And I thought, at first I thought this guy was playing, but he was serious. He was,
you're serious?
Oh, yeah,
we
he was,
ran into a few of those.
Really?
yeah,
Mr.
there's a
Raven
couple
had
of
some
them,
words.
and they're not kidding in the least. You're all going, you're damned, and oh man,
Isn't that really too high of a mountain to climb to try to,
I mean, like, why are you gonna just like shit on everyone?
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you go.
understand
Okay,
it.
that's an edit. Okay, yeah, I agree. So listen. Also, so Raven is here. Also, Jocko Johnson hiding down in the south. Except NYPD Blue. How you doing there,
Mac.
Jocko? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Okay.
Doing all right.
You
That's
look
a great
relaxed.
place,
You look relaxed.
Hanging in there.
You're hanging in there. That's all that counts. Okay. Who did we not? Oh, Club. Security chief is here. Club, how you doing?
You know, Mac, I was concerned. I thought you were going to forget about me.
How can I do that?
We wouldn't forget about you.
No.
Well, I'm doing great tonight. I'll tell you. I'm learning a lot, and
Are you?
so
Yes.
impressed with, our intelligence agencies.
Right.
Where would we be today
Yes.
without a lot of this behind-the-scenes stuff?
Talking Russian, probably.
I don't know.
Thank
but,
you,
yeah,
boys. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Could be.
For sure.
It's
Hey,
just
Matt,
that
doesn't Club look like Patton more and more every time?
he does look like a Patton. He has a little bit of a Patton thing going for sure. He looks like a lot of people. He looks like Wade Bulger. Looks like Patton. Looks like a judge. Looks like a doctor. He looks very kind of distinguished. So
Well,
what
I'm a chameleon.
I know
I can do that.
you could,
If you were a
Patton's
casting
grandson.
agent, he would be great for so many different roles.
right?
Yeah.
I
Priest,
still
his
can't figure out why
grandson.
Club's not in more commercials.
priest,
Yeah.
cardinal,
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
I met Patton's grandson, George
Yes.
Patton Waters, and
Yes.
when I first saw him, I almost fell down because he looks just like his grandfather.
Well, he's probably trying to affect that look.
Unbelievable.
Agent X, talk about affecting a look. Agent X is with us. Yeah, Agent, the guy who works for the agency, counterintelligence officer with the U.S. Army at some point. X. What did he do? Were you mixing a drink?
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry, that
that's
was me.
not me. That's probably some other.
Sorry, I
person
didn't put
here.
that. I didn't mute. Sorry.
Let me get to our guest. Okay.
Whatever.
His colleague.
Anyway, thanks for having me. And I thought you would ask, since I was with my colleague
Go ahead.
during the counterintelligence times,
Yes.
about things that happened.
We haven't introduced him yet, but go ahead, please. Tease it.
But we were on a foot surveillance, which was quite unusual
Okay.
for us, as Scott knows. We were in downtown Frankfurt. I think I told you this, Mac.
Go ahead.
And we had about 7 or 8 of my unit. And
Looking
we
at
were
people's feet?
surveilling our
Looking at
target.
Looking at girls' feet
Yeah.
like Quentin Tarantino. Is that what you were up to?
No.
Wow.
And we were
Okay.
surveilling our target, and it was in a department store.
Yes.
And
Oh, I heard this story. Yeah, go ahead.
yes.
You're following
and
around a family.
The target were
Yeah.
there with their wives,
Yeah.
and they were all.
Well, you got to tell the story
you-
right, dude. You got to tell the
I've
story
got
right.
$5. What department one's going to ask?
No, well,
This
let's
was going down
let me
I'm
set the
not gonna
table
ask
real
that.
quick, okay? Real quick.
Let's go.
Basically, what
Let's go.
you were
Go ahead.
doing, you were following
everybody-
people. Hang on. You were
You want me
following.
not to tell it, or what?
Hang on. You were following people on their side, dressed up as kind of normal Americans, right? You weren't in uniform. You were tailing them in a way, just to kind of keep tabs
Correct,
on them.
correct, correct.
Okay, go ahead. So you're in the
Dale,
department
Any
store.
comments?
No.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's only a 2-hour show. Let's go. So you're in there, okay, and you're in the bra section. What happened?
You didn't-
No, he
You're
wasn't.
quite correct.
Did you really try them on?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Anything for the
No,
country.
he wasn't. Come on, I want to hear the rest of the
Go ahead.
story. Come on.
Never mind.
Oh, come
Anybody
on.
else? Any comments?
I'll tell the end
Right.
story.
Juan wants to know what else you saw in the department.
I got to introduce our guest, too. So just tell us what happened. Tell us the
Jeez, I
punchline.
want to hear
any-
the rest of the story. Knock it off, Mac.
You gonna write a book?
Mac, I'm trying to tell him to tell us the rest of the story.
I'm
wanna
trying.
say-
Shut up and
X.
let's listen to it.
X, I just have to make one comment. The way you're positioning yourself, you look just like the Kilroy.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
all I
right.
see is like your
Your
nose
eyes.
and your eyes above the bottom of your screen.
Okay, go
when
ahead.
You're getting
your
more and
hands
more
like that.
angry.
He's still undercover. Go ahead, please. Raven has her head down and she can't believe it. Go ahead. So what's the end of the story there, Rex, please?
Is there a punchline?
Oh, okay, listen, let's go on to our guest.
Okay, wait. So
Jesus.
you know the story.
All right, well, no one
After all
else
those
does.
But we don't.
We don't.
We don't. Mac knows, but we don't.
We're inside a department store in downtown Frankfurt doing a pedestrian or a foot surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
And the target were with their wives.
Oh.
And one of the wives sneezed. And I said, God bless you, which is the most horrible thing you can do.
Oh, you gave it away.
Gesundheit.
Why didn't you say Gesundheit? You're in Germany.
Okay. Because the Sisters of St. Joseph and the Christian Brothers took precedence.
Yeah, that knee-jerk reaction.
When I listen,
everybody's got to come in.
When I listen to you, I'm
reliving a Salem on Halloween moment.
So what happened? Your cover was
is there more to the story?
No,
is that it?
That was it. At a retreat.
Everybody has to chime in.
Okay. Well, no. Can I introduce our guest first, though? He's your buddy. Okay. F7u O'Connell, ex of Army Counterintelligence, now an author. Thanks for joining us. You never thought it was going to be like this, right?
No, I never thought everybody would be.
Not talking to you. I'm talking to Scott. Hello, Scott.
No,
Are you talking to me?
No.
So somebody said,
wow.
Why did you say that? And I looked at the female agent beside me and I said, and she was so good. She wiped her nose and sneezed again.
Oh.
Wow. That is thinking on your
And if
feet.
we didn't have all the kibitzing and all the people coming into this, the story would have made much more sense.
Okay. All right. But I want to introduce our guest first, though, okay?
You could have been in danger at that point then, Agent X, right?
Yeah.
You should have had the big box of Kleenex like you do, one. Look.
That was scary.
Author F7u
Scott, I apologize for this.
All right.
God, what an awesome job you guys were doing. That is amazing stuff. And you didn't get shot at or anything, right?
Well, you don't know that. Listen, let me just introduce him, please. Scott O'Connell, how you doing? You never thought it was going to be like this, correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. See, so we fooled some guy who spent all these years in counterintelligence. Okay. Of course,
you guys are heroes in my book.
I drove a cab in New York in the day, so I'm used to anything.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. That explains a lot. So listen, why don't we do this? Okay, thanks for hanging around with us, Scott. We really appreciate it. The name of his new book is Envoy of the Lord. Just go on to Amazon.com. We have a couple segments to do here, and the first one was that Raven, as you know, has a crystal ball, and she knows how to use it, okay? Everybody on the show has been a victim of this except me. So tonight, is that what's going to happen? You're going to crystal ball me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think I'm missing Switch, though, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we got into Switch. I thought Switch was the first
Did
one.
we do Switch?
Switch, have we done this to you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe I did. I don't know. I'll look back.
I don't know.
But
Why don't you give him his?
I might have been wearing aluminum foil at the time and didn't really
Maybe.
get the vibe.
I'll look in my crystal ball records.
Okay.
Anyways.
Here we go.
So we do have Mac.
You know that they
Are
do
we
say
ready?
the devil is in the details.
Hang on, here we go. Start the music. Go, Raven.
Start the music. Okay. Mac's birthday, February 9th. This is the day of vibrancy. Mac is an Aquarius. He's an air sign, and he is ruled by the number 9 and Mars.
Number 9.
So you tend to be highly spontaneous and are attracted to exciting happenings. However, you can sometimes be unrestrained and need to focus on unbuckling down and kind of centering yourself more when necessary. So there's kind of like a little aloofness almost.
Oh, okay, yes.
You are no stranger to suffering, and you often
That's
use
true.
this to help raise the spirits of family and friends. Because you're so highly evolved, painful memories can often be used as a tool, and that helps to uplift and inspire others.
There you go. Especially at the racetrack.
You are
Don't bet that horse. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
you are a survivor, meaning that you've paid your dues. Because of this, you are able to understand difficulties that others face with wisdom and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good quality.
Yes.
Despite being a colorful individual, you sometimes struggle to remain positive and vibrant. It is as if you see you're in like a constant battle with the dark and the light of your personality. So there's those they're pulling each other kind of. So that is something that could be something that you face in the future.
A problem.
As difficult.
An issue.
But despite this, your sympathy and your insight are often sought after in your social circle. Your strengths, you're, like I said, colorful, and you are productive. Your weaknesses, you can be scattered and troubled.
Wow.
I do have your tarot card, of course.
Don't.
What is it?
Scattered and troubled.
Drum roll, please.
Card.
The name of my next book.
This is the Hermit. The Hermit is my absolute favorite card.
Okay.
And my cards are a little different than traditional ones. So this has a turtle in its shell with a little lantern on the top.
What?
Yeah, the Hermit.
Go ahead.
So this card represents meditation, isolation, and solitude.
Okay.
The Hermit motivates and guides others on their path.
Yes.
And on their path through stillness, brings wisdom to all.
All right.
And this is a very, very celebrated card in the deck.
Better than Wan's card, right? Better than Wan's card, correct?
I don't remember what Wan's is.
I do.
I have to go back and double check.
That would be a big yes.
Yes. Okay.
Wow. And
okay.
you share a birthday with Alice Walker, and she was the author of The Color Purple.
Oh.
Joe Pesci, as we all know, is an actor.
Okay.
Carole King, a musician.
Yes.
Charlie Day, he's an actor.
Okay.
William Henry Harrison, whoa,
the president.
US president.
Yeah. Huh.
And John Ziegler, he is the National Hockey League president. And your meditation is fate itself is the ultimate Zen master.
Wow. Okay. Man.
Wow, that's a good one. Good reading.
I should write this down, right? I should probably know the future.
Take notes.
Thank you, Raven. Okay. Yes. I'm just glad it wasn't like one of these Skull and Bones tarot cards, because that's never good, right?
I don't have any like that. Mine are all super, mine are nice. Mine are cute.
Well, I'll toss it in there and and probably come in on the wing on this pretty quick.
This is trouble.
A couple points in my life, I was in some pretty dark areas, and Mac was always a consistent good ear and friend. And I always think back to those times, and I appreciate it. So I think it's a pretty good read that you have on him, Raven.
Is it
Thank you.
Is it impolite if I say I can't remember those times?
Oh, that's okay.
I listen.
Didn't say anything about your caring heart. We're just talking about the time you were there with you.
Wow.
Mac, you're on the wing, so.
On the chicken wing. All right, look it. This is what we're going to do.
And you know what? I can chime in on that a little bit. When I was offered a podcast, Mac was very encouraging. He said I should go ahead and take it. There wasn't any competition or anything like that for the show. So I appreciated that.
Wow.
He's always been very supportive about that.
All right. Okay. I will clap for myself then.
Wow. Yes, we all should.
I am a great guy, as it turns out.
When Mac invited me to his home to disinfect his PC.
Oh, hang on now.
And his lovely wife, Lois Lane, was waiting in the wings to see if I was going to work out before she brought down her laptop. He offered me a pair of PPE gloves just to warn me that whatever might have been contained in his PC could be serious. So,
man, okay.
I thanked him for that.
That's a long road for that joke. What are you trying to say? That I had some?
You have a virus.
Okay.
He didn't want to touch it. He didn't want to touch your computer after he touched his own.
I say now I understand.
Was the keyboard sticky?
And if it wasn't for Mac,
right.
none of us would be here.
Thank you, Al.
That is very true. Yay to Matt.
That's right.
All right, listen.
There's so many connections to Mac. It's unbelievable.
I'm glad that we got this over with. Next week, it's you there, Switchy. You should have kept your mouth shut there, brother.
Yeah, I think we already did. Me.
Oh, yeah, all of a sudden. Hey, have we done Club?
I have a really good memory.
Do we do?
I don't think you did Switchy. No.
Hey, Club, did we do you?
He didn't do Switchy.
Yeah, but Juan doesn't have a very good memory, so I don't know.
Hey, Club.
He's right about that.
Did we read your fortune on the air yet?
Oh, you bet she did.
Oh, really?
I definitely did Club. Wait, but did I do Juan? I never did Juan.
That was the one.
I didn't.
Oh, I think you did, though. Okay, wasn't that the one about the strippers and the feet and stuff?
My reading would not include any details on strippers.
Hang on. All right, so listen.
We know all about it. We don't need it.
We're going to do.
If she does me, I just hope the
Watch
the 10 of swords or whatever it is doesn't show up in my in my reading.
Swords. Okay, all right. Let's move
Eileen
on.
is going. Mrs. Juan is going to do a tarot reading.
Oh, really?
Shortly.
On you?
Yeah.
We do it on the air? Okay, we have her report later.
Maybe,
That should really strengthen a marriage right there.
you ain't kidding.
That's a good thing. Right there.
All right, listen. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now? And we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network.
Hey fans, Lois Lane here, and I think it's time for you to get some free swag from Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show. We have badges, pins, bar coasters, and some very cool 3D show logos that we just can't wait to give away. Just go to MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we'll ship the free swag out to you quicker than Switch can eat breakfast. That's MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button to get your free swag today. Requests for Tasteful News of Wan will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
You can figure it out for yourselves. Girls, the very famous JJ Wan is here.
Hello, girls. Hello, Mac. I'm exhausted. This has been an amazing show tonight.
Really? It's not the whipped vodka you've been drinking? It's the exhaustion of the show.
I'm drinking that to chill.
Okay, to chill. All right. Well, no wonder he's my hero. Also up there, my other hero. Up in the great state of Maine, Vancouver.
Good evening, sir, and thank you for letting me be part of the formation.
Okay. All right. And, I mean, I have to ask, everything okay with the pig and stuff? Zeppelin the pig?
Yeah, Zeppelin's cool. Bear's cool.
All right. Okay. The ball is
He's getting a lot of fan mail. I go to a lot of places, and people want to know where he is, why he's not with me.
The pig?
Yeah, because he used to make quite a few trips with Bear and I in the truck, and he's a little bit big for that now.
He's like 200 pounds, right?
He's right around 75
pounds.
Wow.
Fatten him up.
Wow. He's a house pig.
Fatten him up now.
He's a house pig.
Easter's coming.
He's great.
No, listen. Hold
awesome.
on a second, okay? Raven, block your ears. I mean, what do you expect? That pig to die of old age?
Absolutely.
They live a long time.
All right,
let's put this to Raven. Raven, what do you think of Zeppelin?
I love Zeppelin so much.
What do you think
I was
of him?
actually looking at pictures of him the other day on my phone because I miss him and Bear
Misses the pig.
and all of the animals.
And the dog.
And of course they're going to die of old age.
Oh, really?
They're regular animals.
Okay. Would you eat a ham sub on the air for us?
No.
No, okay.
Nope.
No. All right.
No
Try
way.
to go there.
No,
way
thank
back. Okay. All right.
Nothing.
Oh, we talked about the pig. Okay. And Eddie, the ballless horse is okay. Teddy, I mean.
Everybody's good.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Teddy is he's been a busy lad. Just leave it at that.
Wow.
Teddy. He needs Prozac.
I know. I feel bad for Teddy. Anyway. Okay, let's move on. Switchblade Steve Ward is here with us. He has tarot cards in the background. He was at Cracker Barrel today for lunch. Had a big lunch. Switchy.
Great to be here tonight.
Now, was that your lunch with the grits and all that stuff? Was that lunch or breakfast?
That was kind of a later breakfast.
Breakfast
call
2.
it brunch.
Breakfast 2.2, yeah, brunch. Oh.
I just call it a later breakfast.
What was your
'cause you're
early
from Michigan.
breakfast? What was your early breakfast? That's it. I didn't. Why would you have to go there, Coco? Insinuating that people from Michigan are what?
I'm trying to talk Farmer's Kitchen into serving grits. You know, they did once and they said, but they didn't do it right. We're not even close.
Wow.
they gotta do
That's
it.
something to get
A couple
behind.
of years ago.
Okay. Look it. So anyway, Switchy, would you have a breakfast? If that was breakfast 2.0,
What was lunch?
No. What was your earlier breakfast? Oh, I see. You didn't eat a breakfast.
I didn't have an earlier breakfast.
Oh, wow. You see,
Mac, are you from Michigan?
A little
too?
bit later.
I
You were
must
from
be.
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Something in the water up there.
Listen.
Coco is fresh
But
tonight.
it was definitely breakfast food. So,
Okay.
I would call it breakfast.
Breakfast all day.
All right. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Listen.
What else did you eat today? I think is what he was trying to say.
This is I was trying to get to. Thank you, Jock.
I don't know, a little bit of this and that.
Okay,
I
good.
had a Pop-Tart and
Good.
I don't know what else I had.
Good
Something.
to hear. Wow. I can remember every single thing I ate today. Want to hear it?
I heard it.
Yeah,
It was disgusting.
Okay.
I want to hear it. I didn't
Thank
hear
you.
it.
Luckily, our security chief, Willie Club, is here with us.
Mac, I'm having a fun time tonight. It's
Are you really?
Very enjoyable.
But you're taking notes.
A lot going on.
You're taking
but,
lots of notes.
I had to tell you, listening to Coco.
What's that?
I have a pig also.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I keep it in the fridge.
Cobra, that thing is going in and out.
There he is.
In your arms there.
Oh, that's a cat. That's a funny-looking pig.
Simon heard that Raven's here, so he wanted to get on screen and say hi.
Really?
What is it, a cat?
It's my Maine Coon cat.
Okay. I couldn't see because the background is fading out.
Those things are like freaking dogs, coon cats. Okay,
He's a
listen.
sweetie.
Club, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Coon cats are cool. We had one.
Jocko
Raven, I
Johnson.
got to ask you a cat question later. Don't go away later.
Jocko Johnson. Okay, we can stay on the air for that if you want company hearing that from him. Jocko, down in hiding, down in the South, ex-NYPD Blue. Everything okay with you?
Yeah.
You look so freaking relaxed that I envy you.
You just got to chill, man.
Okay, wow, okay. Jocko's telling me to chill. I'm going to take your advice.
Hey, I just want to know what's going on sometimes.
I'm with you there.
I walk the right line,
I'm on that train. I was going to say saving the best for last. The beauty of Among the Beasts, but Al Renaldo, UFO Mechanic, is here with us.
Hi, Mac. How you doing?
The designated driver.
And I didn't even, I was up at 4:30 this morning. I didn't have anything to eat until
that Budweiser?
2 this afternoon.
There's rice and hops. There's nutrition. And
I was on the road. I was gone.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I had today?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got half a corn muffin, they have just the tops, the flat part.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That was one, the coffee, and then I had some chicken and pajamas with that.
Chicken and what?
Chicken and pajamas. Chicken parmesan.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
I got Jocko's show and tell if you want.
There you go. Oh, yeah, some Parmesan. Oh, my goodness.
50 cal, man.
Okay.
Go 2 miles in a sniper rifle.
I thought it was a cigar. I really thought it was a blunt. I thought it was a blunt. Why am I seeing that? Okay, look.
I thought that was what it was.
Wow. I don't even want to know what that is.
2 deuce, baby.
All right, listen. The beauty among the beasts. If she can stay with us for the rest of the show, we should give her a medal. Raven is with us up there in Sideways, New York. Raven.
Hello, my friends.
Please tell us you're having fun.
I am, of course, always.
Always. Okay. All right. Even it's okay with the pig talk and so on and ham sandwiches.
Yeah,
and
Zeppelin's so cute. I love him.
Easter. Okay. All right. So listen, this is what we're going to do.
I object.
There you go. Only he would have a judge's gavel.
I was given that by a judge because I took good care of him on something.
Wow. Okay.
He had a big problem.
Funny now, testimony later. Can you imagine us being dragged into court?
It went away.
It went away, huh?
It went away.
With one of those other things that you showed us.
One of those things that the lieutenant calls in and says, you're my best guy, right? Yeah, sure, boss. Well, I got something for you.
Go ahead.
Oh, boy.
And it went away. You made it go away.
Oops, my piece went off.
I don't know how it happened. It just did.
Very interesting. This would be a good time to say 2 things. First of all, and everyone is going to be hearing this for the first time, except Jocko and I, is that we're going to try in the near future to come up with, true crime podcasts are like the #1 podcasts everywhere. Okay.
I heard that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of true crime podcasts and people just love them. They can't get enough. Okay. We're going to look into doing true UFO crime podcasts. You know how many
UFO crime?
Yeah. You know how many researchers have been, said that they've been killed, or people say they've been killed, and if you look at, a lot of them are going to be speculative, though, okay? But there's some guy in Poland, man, you're going to hear his story, and you say, well, what else happened to this guy? What else could it be? So, yeah, true crime UFO stories. True UFO crime stories.
You have to show me which one that is, Max, so I can look into that.
It's the one in Polish. I sent it to you in Polish.
It was. That's right.
So that might be coming up. And also I want to tell people that our World War II Trivia Contest show is coming up, and we are playing for our listeners. So everyone who writes us an email, go to macmaloney.com, hit contact, send us an email and say you want to have your name put in the Magic Fishbowl. And at the end of the show, we're going to be picking out 3 names. And the first prize is a really kind of cool deluxe edition of Risk in Europe. a good friend, Philip Baines, who is the president past of Winning Moves. They put out Monopoly and Risk and Rubik's Cube and Clue and stuff like that. They're donating the prizes. And there will be the deluxe edition of Risk in Europe, and then prizes 2 and 3 is the new Clue, which is actually an updated Clue from 1949, so that's cool. So just send us an email, say you want to be in the Magic Fishbowl at the end of the show. The World War II Trivia Show, we'll be picking up the lucky names, picking them out. Hopefully the fishbowl isn't hacked by the Russians again.
We hate it when the fishbowl gets hacked.
Right. Yeah, I get a feeling it might.
Stop inviting Chinese agents to the studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really.
Why is he bringing that up?
That's all
the
Mac's fault, too, on that.
Yeah,
one.
leaving the bar.
Okay.
I wasn't even there, so you can't blame me.
Okay. Oh, and how
I don't know what you're
convenient.
talking
Wow.
about, so I don't know anything.
X was there. Where'd he
Plausible
go?
deniability.
Okay, listen. So we have this little segment. Al and I, when we get together and talk, we talk about how, like, especially in wartime, especially in World War II, they would come up with like these very, and after World War II, very kind of strange aircraft designs, okay? And a lot of them, just didn't work, but they were like really experimental. These days, the thing better work before you invest billions and billions of dollars into it. So
You would think.
You would think, sometimes, they have to, they have to kind of work out the kinks, let's say. Those kinks are worth like trillions of dollars, but, hey, listen, no one's perfect.
It takes a decade, a decade and a half. What's the
Well, sometimes now they can do it on a computer, right? And then they build it. Now what happens is it looks so great, and the DoD guys say, you know what? Put this in there, put that in there, put this in there, and that too.
Well,
and that's what does it.
That keeps the ball rolling. So listen, Al has written down a few really kind of way out airplanes, right? Is that how we can?
Well, yeah, some of the World War II experimental stuff that are right after the war.
Go ahead.
When you first get into the jet age, if you will, and the first one,
Century series,
has to do with the early Russian jets, because they had taken a bunch of information from the Germans, and they brought turbojets back to Russia when they captured them. As we did. So they brought back some German technology, some of the turbojets, and they tried building aircraft frames around them to make an operational fighter. And they were already in production with some of the copies of the engines they brought back. So, starting in 1945, and they had multiple contractors, different designs, they had single and dual engine, projects running. And one of the first ones was the Yak-15, which was a lightweight plane, but it got to 566 miles an hour.
Really? Yeah.
But severe vibration and, a lot of system failures because they were rushed. They were not really big on, doing anything as far as safety.
Just to see if it worked.
Yeah, they were really trying to get this thing going. So they had a lot of, distortion of the frames because they'd fire this thing up and get it going that fast, and then, it would start elevators to be distorted or actually fall off the plane.
Because you're going so fast.
Right. And
the stresses and stuff.
They had no idea what was going to go on.
Okay.
So, they had some serious problems, but, that's how they learned. Unfortunately, some of the test pilots didn't learn a whole lot because they didn't make it.
That's what they're in business for.
And then there was another one where they were saying that the British actually had was a DH-108 Swallow, which possibly went supersonic before Chuck Yeager.
Oh, wow.
But because it killed the pilot,
they didn't know
at that point, and it was a guy named Jeffroy de Havilland,
famous guy.
Yeah, he was one of the big test pilots, I believe. But anyway, he never got to tell them because at that point they had a problem with they were afraid of spies, so they couldn't report over the radio that they had actually done it.
Sure.
So he probably did do it because they did hear a sonic boom, but they didn't know what it was. But he didn't survive.
Now, this is in a jet, right?
Right. Yeah, jet-powered plane.
Okay. All right. See, because Chuck Yeager was actually in a rocket plane.
Right.
Right. But for a jet plane back then to break the sound barrier is a big deal.
So Yeager actually got to 2.5, Mach 2.5 at one point. But, he obviously survived it. But he had a couple of close calls where the thing went crazy on him. But luckily his went up and it didn't go down. So he was able to counter it.
That's 2.5 Mach, 2.5 Mach, 'cause that's about 1,800 miles an hour?
1650, I think.
Okay, all right.
And he did it in 1953.
Yeah, that's something else.
Pretty early on.
That took stones.
Yeah, and he had broken ribs when he first broke the sound barrier. He actually crashed a motorcycle the night before.
Oh, yeah, right, yes.
And he used a piece of a broomstick to be able to close the door.
Right, yeah. It was in the movie. But they back then, they weren't sure if you broke the sound barrier, like all kinds of strange stuff would happen. They didn't know.
Right, they had no
the
idea.
thing could come apart. Your brains would be scrambled. They just didn't know.
Right.
So
it was funny when he did it. He couldn't even come on the radio and say, "Hey, I just did it."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he had to wait till he came down. What he did manage to say was something to the effect of,
"Oh shit!
This mission was a success."
Okay.
If you didn't know what the mission was, then you're okay.
Sounds
so
good.
he was, he was quite the man there.
Okay.
And then other planes. There were like the first supersonic production plane was an F7u Cutlass, which they nicknamed the Gutless.
Wow.
And
that was supersonic. That piece of
that's what it says.
The oddest looking plane you've ever seen.
It was the first. It had the first supersonic bomb release. It was a multi-task plane. It did
two
interceptors. It had did recon. It did fighter. But the losses were so high because the thing kept coming apart.
They also had this like very long nose wheel. And they would land this on carriers, and the thing would just break, and they lost a lot of
blow
pilots.
Its brains out. They said that it was double the accident rate of an aircraft given at that time.
Yeah.
And it also had
double
2 20-millimeter cannons on either side of the intake for the engine.
Yes.
So when they started firing the engine, the gun, it caused flame out of the motor.
There's some good design,
right? So what they figured out finally, after I guess they lost a few people, was they'd have to fire the guns. On either side, not at the same time.
Oh, really?
They have to stagger the guns.
It's a solution.
So it also had less than half the thrust promised, and the engines weren't real long time engines. So
yes,
sounds
like they needed some aeronautical Viagra.
Well, again, everybody's trying to rush. Rush too. McDonnell Douglas made an F3H, which they called the lead sled.
Okay. Not a plane you want to be flying.
It was a carrier-based aircraft, Westinghouse engine. It had very poor forward visibility, poor lateral stability, slow roll rate. That was in 1950.
That's funny. The Navy, they were the ones who were really kind of, let's just put it together and see if it works type thing. And you can understand it, but it's certainly not the way it's done today.
And then they fitted that with an afterburner to get more power out of it, and it was still, they said, unreliable. The program stalled. Lack of more powerful, reliable engines.
How much money is being spent on these things?
Back in those days, they probably weren't spending a ton of money, but now, oh my God,
But it's all down the drain.
And then the Boeing B-47, it had thin, flexible wings, and it had 6 turbojet engines and underwing fuel tanks and 18 JATO solid fuel rockets for emergency takeoffs when fully loaded.
Wow.
Talk about a bomb.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, those are
about a bomb on the runway.
Yeah, those are little rockets that help, jet-assisted takeoff. They're rockets that help you get off the ground if you're really heavy. Wow.
And they were only really used for emergency takeoff if the plane was fully loaded with fuel and fully loaded with armament.
Mm-hmm.
And they said the funny thing was the pilots could look out while it was flying and see the wings flexing.
Cool.
And it was very unnerving.
It must have felt great.
Unnerving.
Yeah. And landing and takeoffs are tricky. It needed an average of 1.3 miles of runway to land.
Is that all?
Yeah. So
that would not work at the Mystery Airport.
Yeah, no, not any longer.
But it's funny though. We say that nothing was learned from these, but I got to assume that, with each failure, they learned a little bit of something about something, and then eventually put together, planes like the F4, big plane, F-14. Those are classic airplanes. But boy, in the 50s, you look at the planes and you go, wow, how, even the Blue Angels back then with this like F3 Tiger, and there's like this underpowered kind of crummy jet, yet,
But in the day, it was the best they had. And that, from what I was reading, they said that Boeing B-47 actually had a nuke burn during a crash. It didn't ignite. It didn't go off. But
B-47,
the plane burned, and the bomb didn't detonate, but there was local contamination around that area.
Where did that? That wasn't anywhere near us, was it?
No, it was in England. And
sorry,
it had the reputation of and the name of being a crew killer. So those are a few that I found.
That was
wow.
If you look at the B-47, what it is, and they needed a bomber real quick. Okay, so they just took a fighter design and they lengthened everything, and they sit like fighters, one behind each other, and
Right.
yeah, it was kind of a stopgap before the B-52. Wow. Well, it once again, went from that to really kind of these competitions between these, F-16s and, F-17s and so on. And then that's how they used to do it. But now I guess they can build these things almost to order now. And that has all gone away. They can build them in like a year or so, which strange is in World War I, they used to come out with a new fighter plane every month because it was just so quick and cheap to make them.
Right.
Once again, if it works, it works. But there were so many fighter models during World War I that they just, came up with. Some had 3 wings, some had 2, some had 1. But anyway.
I always got a big kick out of the guns that would shoot, and they had cams on so they'd shoot through the propeller.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, think how fast that propeller's going.
You know what they were doing before that is that they used to put pieces of steel on the propeller, so if the bullet hit it would ricochet.
It would bing off it. Yeah,
sometimes it would come right back. But there was a guy, some guy figured that out, put it between cams, and it would actually shoot bullets through the moving propeller, which is crazy for World War I technology.
That's wild.
Anyway, thank you, Al, for that report. Let's clap for Al because he has to drive me home.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al.
All right. So now we are at that point where everyone's been waiting for a report from Switch, report from the Fringe. He's sitting there. He looks very astute tonight. He has like a black turtleneck sweater on, it looks like. Got those big librarian ear.
Professor Switch.
Those librarian eyeglasses he got from Raven, apparently. Hair looks good.
You have my glasses?
That's where they went.
I thought that skeleton took our glasses.
Okay. And he has tarot cards behind him. Okay, Switchy. So what do you got for us there, buddy?
Well, I've got a really strange one.
Cool.
Everybody knows the name Whitley Strieber. Whitley and Ann Strieber wrote a book called The Communion Letters. And these were thousands of people responded to communion when Whitley first talked about these experiences he had, and to talk about their own experiences. It was kind of reminiscent of John Keel way back in the 60s, and I think it was True Magazine.
Yes.
He decided to deal with the occupants, which they hadn't done that much of. Now, APRO, the Lorenzens had, but it was not something that was dealt with a great deal. So the name of Keel's article was, "Never mind the saucer, did you see the guys who were driving?" And that got a tremendous response. The editor took him into his office one time, and there were already 6 full post office bags full of these letters of the response from people.
Yes.
So that the Striebers got just a tremendous amount. And in the communion letters, they distilled that down to just a few stories. Now, this one is really, really bizarre. Now, when people write letters, sometimes they're not that detailed. And we don't know any names. We don't know where this took place. But it's in a rural area. It's the house is 2 stories. It's built into a hill. So when they go up, their kitchen is on the 2nd floor. And when they go up and look out through the window, they can see the tops of the trees. So one night, about 9 p.m., she's up doing the dishes, and she sees some kind of a light. It's almost like there's maybe a car in the driveway or whatever, but then it's gone. There's nothing there anymore. Well, the next morning when they get up, this is a mother, father, and a couple of children. We don't know any names or anything like that. She gets up and she looks out the window and she sees a woman dressed in, looked like kind of a red windbreaker, walking into the stables. Her daughter goes in to look, and there's nobody there. And then a little bit later, and you've got to understand that we've heard of the Oz factor, where people have these experiences. Everything sometimes gets very quiet, or they're kind of disassociated with reality. And that's what was happening to them all day. They could see these things going on, but they were kind of not in a stupor completely, but they just weren't functioning completely to deal with what was going on. So she sees a little man jump off the top of their pump house. Now, they've got stables and a pump house. This must have been quite a piece of property. Now, this little guy jumps off this 8-foot pump house and takes off. And all she can see is he's got brown hair, and the way he runs, it's so almost like there's a little bit of a bounce to him, like gravity isn't completely like he isn't completely governed by gravity. And then at one point she decides to go grocery shopping. I mean, we've got these weird things going on. She goes out, brings back some groceries. Her husband comes up to her and says, there's people up in the trees. And he said he tried to talk to them. And even the children went out on the front porch, and they're looking at these beings or whatever up in the tree, which is just bizarre. And they're calling to them, to come down. We won't hurt you. But there's no communication whatsoever. And as they look up in the trees, it seems like these entities have constructed some kind of a platform up in the trees. And they got a pretty good view of some of the stuff that's going on from the second story window, where they're almost level with the tops of the trees. And so they saw these two particular beings. One of them had some kind of they described it as a beautiful beaded antenna, excuse me, yes, protruding from their head. One of them looked more, in quotes, American. One looked a little more Asian, but they were not human. The in quotes American one, this gets so bizarre, had a brown mustache. One of them wore a dazzling piece of what looked like some kind of jewelry, like a band or something. It was multicolored with silver, gold, platinum, or apparently it looked like this. Now, it probably wasn't a piece of jewelry at all, if this is a real experience. The impression they got was that whatever these entities were doing, they were monitoring the area, perhaps monitoring them. And this went on for a while. And then the woman stepped outside, and she sees one of these beings climbing a branch in the tree. And when she sees the face of this thing, it reminds her of the being on the cover of Whitley Strieber's Communion. And this woman, this entity, was just too long and thin to be human. And she found herself saying, "You have no right to be here. You shouldn't do that without my permission." And then immediately she realizes how stupid that sounded, because whatever's going on, they've got no control. And she goes back in the house, and goes back to the upstairs window to get a better look. This entity is wearing something like an old-fashioned flight cap. And not only that, this being is wearing some kind of goggles that match her elongated eyes. Where are you going to buy those, huh? So, and also, the same being was holding some kind of a black box-like affair, as if she was filming or monitoring something or trying to gauge something. And she goes outside again, and she sees this, not exactly a being, but some kind of like a mass of energy moving. It's moving along the ground. It also seems to have this same, she describes it as a piece of jewelry, this kind of dazzling piece of whatever it is, as part of this energy or whatever. And then at 4 p.m., some friends stop by. So they tell him, start to tell him about these beings in the trees. And so they go upstairs and they don't see anything. Their friends don't see anything. I wonder, afterwards, what their friends, if they even remember the incident, what they possibly thought of when they told them, they said, well, these people are up in the trees. So and as the day goes on, it gets hazier and hazier. They remember less and less. The next day, everything's gone. Everything's back to normal. They're hearing birds up in the trees. They talked to each other, and they verified that they had all seen these strange things. The mother got very sick, and she had to be hospitalized. She had to have, she said, 2 liters of intravenous fluids. After a week, she recovered. One of her children, their youngest child, had started grinding her teeth and had really ground them down, and was then sleeping with the covers over her head, which she had never done before. At first, the husband, the way he reacted was, we just, experienced some kind of a crazy mass hallucination. But later on, he consented that, no, this was some kind of a real physical experience. Mm-hmm. Now there's dozens of stories in the communion letters. Here's one other one. I actually had this one picked out for our Halloween show if we were going to use it, because it's just so damn creepy. And this takes place in October of 1979. And these couple were parking and having a romantic evening, and just so that nobody judges this couple, they got married later. Okay, so it's dark and there's some heat lightning, but then all of a sudden they notice that there's this car, kind of an odd looking car, if that's what it was, facing in their direction in this parking area. They hadn't noticed it before. And if it arrived, it would have gotten there in complete, total silence. They looked something like an old 1930s automobile, black or gray in color. It just didn't make any sense. And then, imagine this. They see something like a small child standing next to the car. And they're kind of freaking out. This is late at night. What's this little kid doing out at midnight in the middle of nowhere? So it stands there, and staring at them is holding something like a pail. It's also wearing something like a full-bodied suit, and it even seems to have almost like perhaps PJs with the feet in them.
Wow.
But I doubt that's what it was.
Stop it. It's so creepy.
I love that.
It is
I
creepy.
hate it.
I mean, this is late at night. And it has a completely unearthly look about it. And the first thought they thought, well, maybe this is a ghost child. And maybe it had died in a car accident. And maybe this is what it is, some kind of an apparition. Now, there's no moon out, but then all of a sudden they notice there's a light above them. So this little entity or ghost child walks right in front of them. He's walking back and forth, and he's swinging this bucket or whatever it is. So then it goes to the passenger side, seems to get in this thing, but no door seems to swing open. Nothing's making any sense.
Go ahead.
So, and then all of a sudden this figure appears again on the driver's side. They're really freaked out, but then at some point they either fall asleep or lose time, and when they wake up, there's nothing there.
How could you fall asleep?
So who knows? I mean, that's it's in the context in the communion letters as perhaps some kind of you've heard all these stories about people that have had some kind of encounter, and they'll see something crazy, like a giant rabbit walking across the street,
I've had those.
the road, or an owl. Just things that don't jive. So in both these cases, there was a disassociation with reality that seemed to be caused by some outer influence.
Right. Here's the thing: is that just to wrap this up, is that anything that has to do with the paranormal or visions of what people see that include children is just creepy. All you have to look at The Shining. But to me, I don't like The Shining, but the creepiest thing in that movie was when you see the kids, the two twins, at the end of the hall and stuff, and they keep showing up. That's creepy to me. We've talked about this before. Twilight Zone. What's the name of that episode where you hear the kid in the walls there?
Little Girl Lost.
Yeah.
Based on a story by Richard Matheson. Yes.
Creepy. And anytime you bring that in, it just, and the poltergeist and stuff and so on. Hey, Switchy, thank you very much for that report.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Let's clap for him, please.
Job, Switch.
Because I would get
letters
from his agent. Well, listen, it's been quite a night. Okay, let me do the plugs first, and then we will say goodbye to everybody and thank them. Homes for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops, please Google them. They are an establishment that raises money to build houses for Afghani and Iraqi war veterans who may have lost a limb over there fighting for us. And what they do is they build these houses and they make them more accessible, like lower counter spaces, easier to get upstairs, things like that, things that will help these people get along. And then when they finish the house, they give them the keys, they rip up the mortgage, they give it to them for free. Okay, they deserve it. We had the general on recently, and he told us that more than half of the veterans that they help, in fact, it's really, really high. Then when they take the anxiety of, where you're going to live off their plate, they go out and they get jobs, it just helps them to just move on, okay? And he reminded us that this isn't charity. It shouldn't be called charity. It's our moral obligation to these people to help them because of what they sacrifice for us, okay? So Homes for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops, just Google them. and hopefully throw him a few bucks. And the general, as we have now named him, will be taking place in our World War II trivia contest, okay? The head pooper of Homes for Our Troops. So just please, Homes for Our Troops, Google him. Also, our good friend Ross Sharp and his Mad Englishman friends are putting back together a Mosquito Warplane from World War II. This is the famous plane that was made of wood because the British were running out of steel. And they put 2 Rolls-Royce engines on it, and it turned out to be the fastest airplane in World War II for about 2 years. So fast that they didn't put guns on a lot of them because...
It outran the bullets.
Outran the bullets.
Can you imagine?
That's how fast this thing was. Okay. Now, Ross and his friends are putting one of these back together. It should be ready next year or so. Coco, can I ask you, when do they expect?
I think if we are fortunate, we may see some ground runs by the end of 22, maybe going into 23.
Nice. Okay.
Right now, the 2 fuselage they're being formed as we speak.
Mm-hmm. Quite an interesting plane, and we found out last week that they used to carry cookies. Recently, we found that they used to carry cookies with a 4,000-pound bomb on one of these airplanes. That's a big bomb load for such a relatively small airplane. So that's the People's Mosquito Project. Google them, see what they're up to. One has volunteered to be the first civilian to take a ride.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Will there be any training for this?
No. What's the point?
I don't know. But
you're going without a parachute. What's the point?
Yeah.
Okay. You either make it or you don't.
Well, I've been up the creek without a paddle. Might as well be up in the air without a parachute.
Okay. Wow. Okay. There's the name of his.
You know, if Jada doesn't make it, that means Cobra and I move up.
That's exactly.
Oh, okay.
Will anybody go to my funeral? That's
interesting. Oh, I think there'll be a big.
I mean, obviously,
there'll be a big crowd.
I'm not looking forward to that. I'm just, pointing out the
stating the obvious, though. Switch. That's all.
Okay.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, don't they?
Switch, you can move up right now on my position.
There you go. Wow.
Well, I don't know if I can handle the pressure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming the thing's going to land properly, so I'm not worried about it. But
yeah, we were assuming that too. Okay.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine.
Let's bring a
From
GoPro.
what we learned from Coco today, you probably want to wear a diaper.
Wear a diaper.
Yeah, that.
And bring snacks with
I think I'm on board with that.
Okay, good.
the diaper and the snacks. Yeah.
There you go.
Can I have your hat and your poster?
So listen, I want to thank everybody. First, let's thank friend F7u O'Connell, who his new book, he joined us earlier. His new book is called Envoy of the Lord. Envoy of the Lord. And he also has a spy series written back about the Revolutionary War. Just go on Amazon, F7u O'Connell. Envoy of the Lord. Okay. Right. Cool name. And thank you to Agent X. It must have been his bedtime because he dropped out in the middle of the show and entertained us with his stories of when he was a spy in Berlin. I mean, frankly, I think we're lucky we didn't get involved in World War III, listen to those two guys talk. Anyway.
I think we beat him up tonight.
Is that the problem? Yeah. Okay. All right. About his hair, about his lack of hair, you mean, or just generally beat him up?
I think just generally. I mean, he was telling those stories, and people were just going at him.
Really?
People were running over him.
Is that right? Okay. Anyway, maybe a cup of coffee would help him. A little caffeine to kind of get the motor going a little bit. I'm going to suggest that to him. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Agent X. Thank you, Jocko. Thank you, Jocko, for joining us tonight.
You, Mac.
Still got the NASA hat on.
Jocko, you were buffo tonight.
I wore the NASA hat because I knew this show was going to be out of this world.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Bingo.
Jocko, doing material. You must be happy that your Giants won their first game, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
But they still stink.
We can tell. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Willie Club. We appreciate you looking in on
Mac,
us.
thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. I really found it very informative.
Okay. Now, when you buy your property in Ireland, you're going to invite us over?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Will we be the servants or something like that? Would you put us to work in your man?
No. You're going to come over there just like any other American, and we'll take all your money.
Oh, cool.
Can I use my old Interpol passport, like paperwork, or do I have to get a regular passport?
We'll be the ugly tourists. So.
Well, you're going to need your own passport, yeah.
My picture was on it, but, it was a different kind of passport.
Thank you, Willie Club, for joining us. We appreciate it. Also, Switch, have I said goodbye to you?
I don't know, but
thank you.
Goodbye, Mac.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Coco, thank
my
you for
pleasure.
joining us and for making it through the second 10 for 10. Doing it in
Oh,
under
thank you, sir.
10
thank
minutes. Talk about being educated. And also, thank you to Raven. Okay, let me leave you for last. Thank you, JJ, for joining us.
You're welcome. I love it.
Okay.
I live for this.
We can
Great
tell.
time tonight.
Okay, what's the brand of your whipped vodka? I mean, what's the name of it?
I don't know.
Stoli? Okay, good. That means,
don't know.
it's
I think it's
working.
Smirnoff.
I was going to say, it's
No,
got to be
it's not.
Smirnoff.
Okay.
Yeah,
They come up with all those crazy
maybe.
flavors.
Yeah, they have so
Maybe.
many flavors.
Wycliffe.
Man, they have a
Probably
whole,
Wycliffe.
really a whole aisle of Smirnoff flavored vodkas. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, Raven, thank you for elucidating us on vodka and everything else. We really appreciate it. We love your hat. Love the hat. Let's clap for her. Let's just out
Oh
of
my gosh,
appreciation.
thank you. Doesn't need to clap for me.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. 1 year
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
it's
show.
anniversary. Okay.
Man, you went.
I'll pat myself on the back for
Thank
that.
you. Okay. Maybe the ghost will do it for you. You never know if you feel that pat on the back sometime.
Ooh, maybe.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, and I want to thank everybody out there for listening. I should just remind them real quick that we're going to be playing the World War II Trivia Contest very soon. Please write to us. Go to MackMaloney.com, hit contact, and tell us you want to put your name. You want to put your name in the Magic Fishbowl. At the end of the show for the Trivia Contest, we're going to be picking out 3 names. The first prize is a deluxe set of Risk in Europe, and also second, third prizes, a reboot of the 1949 game of Clue. Thank you to Phil Baines, our good buddy, past president of Winning Moves Game Boards, who put together this prize for us. They also they put out different kinds of Monopoly. You know that they have a Monopoly for Worcester, Mass now? I mean, Worcester, Mass, if you're not...
You're kidding, really?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, it's an unlikely city that you would do Monopoly for. But hey, listen, who are us?
What's Boardwalk?
Who we to tell? Yeah, right. Who do we to talk? You know. But anyway, yeah. So all different kinds of Monopoly games and everything. Winning Moves. Thank you to Phil Baines. That's going to come up very soon. Also, I should remind everyone.
Just like to throw it in there. Worcester doesn't kill its bears when they're walking around the streets. Just like to throw it.
Probably not. Yep.
And that
Bear killer.
you can also get. Yeah, you can also get. I mean, that was the headline was that this thing got hit by a car and the people who were going to take care of it. I think the headline would be there's a 200-pound, 6-foot bear walking around Salisbury, Mass, which is not out in the woods. You would say it's a highly populated area.
Yeah.
Am I right, Al?
Yeah, well, not just the fact that it got hit. It's just it was there walking around. Right?
Walking around.
I'm sorry, but
It was looking for the nearest early bird special restaurant,
There you
and
go.
then unfortunately met his demise.
Probably had
by
grits.
Bears like
some-
brunch.
and my
Bears
neighbor
wasn't paying
like
attention.
brunch.
and my
Well,
neighbors.
that's barely
ways.
believable.
It's a-
You know,
I know
to look both
Salisbury,
ways.
really.
ironically enough, the restaurant closest where I got hit was the Winner's Circle.
yeah, there you
There
go.
you go. Listen, they have fine
There you
breakfast
go.
there. So look at. I want to thank everyone, and I want
Place your
to.
bets and buy your tickets.
I want to tell everyone to. Yes, right. Yeah, I want to tell everyone to write to us if you want a bag of swag. Go to MacMaloney.com, hit the contact button, give us your mailing address, and we will send out a bag of swag to you. We got new pins and. The bar coasters are just flying off the shelves. Everyone wants the bar coasters. So I think that's it. Uncle Al,
Yeah.
okay? You're
Yeah.
the producer, the halfway producer tonight. Yeah? Everything good?
I think we're fine.
Please give me thumbs
I think
ups.
we're
Way over time.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
okay.
over time, but you know the magic of editing will take
my
care of
fine.
that.
I sound fast on broadcast. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, gang, for joining us. And this is Mac.
You're welcome.
For the entire gang saying, until you hear us next, be safe, be happy, and...
Bye-bye.